get that actually. All right, let's get going. Twitch chat. Need that chat so I can see all the chats. Right, let's put up Fortnite. So we will need that one. Hey, Gray. Right, I'm dual streaming on YouTube and Twitch right now. I've got both going, as I thought we'd do some live benchmarking. And also what I've done is I've only got two environments on my PC now, a 23H2 and 24H2 Windows. And I'm using the 23H2 as the test environment. So I've had to, for latency testing, I've had to install the full driver. I haven't installed Experience Center. I've only installed I've installed the app. What was that thing? Turn on reflex flash indicator option is going to measure latency. Yes, that's what I've done already. We've got down here, right at the bottom, we're using the NVIDIA app instead of the Experience Center. So the Windows app is kind of the next gen of the Experience Center. So I've set all that up this morning. So that's all good to go. So, and I tested it was working, but I just now need to actually get some measurements. Hey, Lux, what's up? Sorry, what's your question? Oh, I have to go between things. Can you not write on so many lines, please? Because it's gone all the way up the screen and I now can't see it anymore. I have to put this back again. Ryzen's, yeah, and that, yeah, that. But my CPU hovers at 20 to 30%. Your CPU usage, don't you mean your GPU usage? Your CPU usage won't be at 20 to 30%. No. Yeah, there's something wrong there. If that's your CPU usage, there's something wrong. If it's your GPU usage that's about 20%, then that's right. But your CPU usage, no, it should be way higher than 60. Unless you're capping at like 60 FPS. What are you capping at? There's something wrong if it's only doing 20%. I mean, either that or you're actually measuring your total usage instead of the max core usage. So maybe you're looking at the total usage instead of the max core usage. Maybe it's the actual measurement you're taking is the wrong one. Right, anyway. Right, I need to get on with this because we're doing to YouTube as well. Right, so I need to go locker and need my standard outfit for testing latency, which is that one. Then I need to go into creative. That one. Oh my goodness, it's cold. 240. Yeah, it should be at least 60%. At least. There's something wrong. You're either measuring the wrong thing, or there's something wrong. Which I don't know what it is. Right, keybinds have been redefined. Hold that to find out more. Right. How do I get rid of that? How do I get rid of that exactly? And also, why isn't that? Oh, that's fine. There we go. We got some measurements. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Why is it telling me keybinds? Hold. I mean, what is that? The little underscore bed symbol. I have no idea. How do I get rid of that? How do I get rid of this thing here? Thank you, Epic. Okay, now it's gone. All right, so we should be able to get some measurements. Yep. So the thing is, I have, because it doesn't work properly with averages anymore. You got all the NAs down there. It's not working properly anymore. Reflex latency analyzer. So we don't have a load of extra stats. So I'm going to have to manually take what I see on my monitor for each latency measurement, which is currently behind where my camera is. I'm going to have to write that manually into a spreadsheet each time 100 times, and then we work out the average at the end. It's incredibly slow and painful, but that's all we got. That's all we got. All right. Yeah, Lux, if you're getting a steady 240 and it's working fine, then there's something wrong with whatever's measuring it. Not what it's measuring, not the value. It's whatever's measuring it's the problem. So don't worry about it. Right, okay, so let's go. So I was going to set up voice activation though, so I can fill in numbers. What's the best way of doing this? Yeah, here. So I need to fill in these numbers here as we go, right? And I've got two ways of doing that. I can either type it in or I can use voice activation, but I think it's going to be more painful doing voice activation. It does mean I need to keep switching between mouse and typing in the number. Can I type in the number with my left hand? Maybe I can do that. Ready? Go. 8.3. 7.2. 7.0. 8.7. No, done that wrong. I think I'm just going to have to use one hand. 6.8. 6.8. 7.4. 6.1. That was 5.8. 7.3. This is so painful. 9.3. 4.3. 5.9. 6.7. 8.3. 7.6. 7.3. 6.8. 8.0. 7.5. 6.1. 7. 6.9. 4.4. That's very low. 4.6. 8.5. Whoop. 6.7. 6.8. 7. Nope, not too far. 6.7. 8.4. 7.7. 6.2. 7.2. 8.7. 7. 8.2. 4.6. 7.2. 6.9. 5. 6. We're only on 43. I'm exhausted already. What was that? I didn't even know what the last one was. 6.6. This is going to take so long. 7.8. So I'm not reading chat while I'm doing this. I've got to concentrate. 7.1. 6.6. 6.1. 8.9. 7.2. 7.6. Halfway. 6.7. 4.2. 8. 6. 7.8. 5.8. 7.1. 7.5. 7.6. 8.8. 7.9. 5.9. 6.7. 6.5. 6.1. 8.2. 7.1. 6.3. 7.4. 7.4. I should go and get a job at a cash register. 8.5. 8.3. 7.8. 6.6. 7.5. 7.9. So painful. 3.8. Wow, that's fast. 9. And then counteracted immediately by another one. 4.8. 8. 7.5. 6.1. 7.9. 8.3. 6.7. 7.5. 7.3. We're on test 88. 7. 4.7. 5.4. Oh, 6.9. 7.7. 5.9. 5.5. 5.8. 7.5. 8. 8.4. 2 to go. 6.3. Yay! Average 7. Okay. Average at 7. So DX12 averages at 7 milliseconds from clicking the mouse to seeing it on screen. Like 360 FPS. Right. Right, I can look at chat again now. Hang on. And then I'll do the next one. Hey, Biscuit. Now there's zero doubt cowboy tweakers are not lying about zero latency. Yeah, they took shit. They're doing zero testing. They don't do any testing at all. Even though a latency analyzer is broken. Yeah, I'm having to do it all manually. So they're definitely not testing. No one in the world is testing this right now. Nobody. You want to know what your latency is for Fortnite in the new chapter? I'm the only one doing this. Zeppo might do it again a bit later with his CPU, but other than that, nobody else is doing it. They're just lying about latency. They're making shit up. Really are. I accidentally left reflex just as on earlier, and I was getting in the 10s, 10 and above milliseconds over and over when I had it on on here. Just hang on, for on, when I had it just as on, I had it in the 10s. So it makes a massive difference having this on plus boost. People that are telling you, oh, it's only if you get 97% GPU utilization, you should use this. It's total nonsense. Turn it on always. You will get a little bit of FPS drop, but you will get a big latency boost. So ignore YouTubers that are doing this misinformation nonsense. Always have on plus boost. You will get the lowest latency with that. You will. Right, we need to go into, and that includes performance mode. So that affects DX11 and DX12, not just DX12. Right, let's do performance mode. Another 100 with this. Apply that, and it will restart. All right, okay. All right, performance mode next. 7 to beat. It will beat 7. I think it will be about 6.3, maybe? Should beat 7 performance mode. Latency-wise. But it's not as smooth FPS. The lows are better with DX12. We showed that yesterday. Lows are better with DX12 than they are performance mode this season. Smoother in DX12. They're obviously actively working the new Unreal engines, 5.5, etc., on improving DX12 because it's a newer technology. They're not working on improving DX11. They're not. They're not doing it. This is why I keep having to test every time they change the Unreal engines. Because last season might not be the same as this season. Is it confirmed about the game engine? No. Apparently there is a way of doing it. You press tilde or something and you get a console up and then you can actually kind of ask it what it is, but I don't know. It doesn't work for me. It's like, is that shift? No. Anyway, right, DX12. No, I'm DX11 now. So this is the performance mode. No, but I think they have. I think they've changed it. The last I heard, previous season was on 5.4. And 5.5 has been out for a couple of months. So, I don't know. It depends when they started working on this season. How long ago? Why wouldn't they use their own latest platform, though? Why wouldn't they? God, I've got to wait for that to disappear again. I don't even know what that character is. Hold whatever that is. Is that meant to be an underscore, but isn't an underscore? I don't even know what that character is on my keyboard. No idea. How do I get rid of this? How do I get rid of this, please? Keybinds. Look, I'm in keybinds right now. Ah, decline. Decline. Don't do that. Okay, that's gone. Ugh. Don't want that happening. Right, here we go. Spacebar. Unreal Engine 4 felt good, did it? Okay. Right. I mean, very smooth this season. Performance has been excellent on this new map, frankly. Excellent. It's worse on performance mode. So I posted on the Discord in your benchmarks section my benchmark for DX12 FPS and performance mode FPS, and the standard deviation is the thing that sticks out for me there. It's got like 33 standard deviation or something for performance mode, but half of that for DX12, which means it's not doing this all the time. It's not kind of going up and down as it's the FPS. So it's much smoother, the DX12. It's much more of a straight line with the FPS. It's not dropping as much and as often. So DX12 is definitely a lot smoother this season than performance modes. So this is why I'm now just doing the latency testing for this. All right, so we're in performance mode. Let's go back to the other PC. Let's start filling in the spreadsheet. So pull that back up again. Go to that one. Right, let's start filling this in. So 7 average to beat. You need to do 100 pickaxe swings and measure them each time. Ready? Steady, go. Right, 7.3. 6.3, 5.7, 8.9, 5.7, 6.9, 6.4, 6.4, 4.8, 6.1, 7, 7 again, 5.5, 5, 5.4, 6, whoa, 3.4, that's very low, 7.3, 7.5, 6.6, 3.7, 7.4, 6.3, 4.5, 6.2, 5.8, 4.6, 6.6, 5.9, 8.4, 6.2, 6.2 again, 5.9, 6.8, 7.2, 3.9, 6.6, 6.1, oh, 5.7, 6, 7.5, 4, 4.9, 5.4, 6.5, 4.3, 4.8, 5.6, 6.3, 6.3 again, 5.1, 7.9, 8.1, 6.2, 7.4, oh, 5, 5.5, 5.5 again, 7.2, 6.5, 4.3, 5.7, 7.8, 5.2, 4.1, 6.4, 7.8, 3.4, 8.1, 7.3, 6.9, 7.1, 8.2, 3.9, 3.9 again, 7, we're doing 76, 6.9, 6.6, 7.7, 10.0, 5.8, 4.4, 6, 5, 7.9, oh, 5.8, 6.7, 4.7, 6.4, 6.3, 6.7, 5.1, 4.1, 4.1 again, 5.5, 8.2, 5.4, 5, 2 to go, 7.8. What did I predict? I predicted 6. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. So interesting that the variances are the same. Let me zoom in on this for you guys. That's bigger. Oh, hang on. Oh. Let me zoom in a bit. bit bigger. Probably should have done that at the beginning, shouldn't I? Right, so average DX12 7, performance mode, which is DX11 6. So 0.9 0.9 better. What is that in terms of comparison? Just curious, what is that percent better? So 6.1. Just do that. What's that divided by that? So 13% better, 13% lower latency. If I turn it to the percentage, oh wow. Yeah, so 13% lower latency with performance mode than DX12. So the question is, can I put up with losing 0.9 of a thingy? Hang on, let me do this. Let me show you what I got earlier. I can just do it in that, actually. Oh, I don't need to do it. Let me just do it in that. All right, so gaming PC. Let me bring up CapFrame X. I'll show you the FPS results. Comparing the two. So do I want to run DX12? Comparison. So that versus, wait, what? Wait. Wait, where are the ones from earlier? We're in the right environment, yeah? Where are the ones from earlier? Hello? I'm confused. 1.7. Please tell me they didn't get deleted. Where are they? That is not the one from earlier. That's weird. Am I loading them from the wrong place? Documents, CapFrame X, captures. Where have they gone? I'm in the right environment, right? Where have they gone? Give me a second. I'll show you the results, even though I've lost them. At least I took a screenshot. Okay, so that's what I did this morning. Oh no, yesterday I mean. Where have they gone on CapFrame X on here? That's just super weird. I seem to have lost them. I'm in the right environment, aren't I? Yeah, I'm in 23H2. Yeah, that's because I recorded them on 24H2. I'm such a doofus. I'm such a doofus. All right, let me grab them again. Let me grab them again. That was from 24H2. Shush them up it. Yes, yes, yes. Give me access. Give me it. Demand access. Select all, copy, go into documents, captures, paste in there, skipping a thing we already got. Okay, they're the new ones. Right, let's show it now. Now when I run CapFrame X, would explain why I had to redo that authentication thing again as well. All right, we should have them now. Here we go. So, comparison. DX12, same replay. Performance mode, same replay. So you can see that the variance is a lot less. So it's going kind of up and down a lot less. Is 24H2 better? It's better for FPS, yes. About 6%. Yeah, Windows updates are a pain in the backside. They keep putting me back onto old NVIDIA drivers. Really annoying. Yeah, 23H2 is fine at the moment. You can move to 24H2, but as I say, it's annoying, some of the bits on it. 24H2 is about 6% better at FPS though. You get the BIOS microcode update from Windows Update. No, you don't. It's pushed through BIOS updates, not Windows updates. All right, anyway, what were we just doing? What was I checking? All right. Yeah, so if you can see that the lower number for standard deviation is the less it moves around. But look at the lows. It's much better in DX12 than it is for performance mode. But performance mode is a millisecond lower latency, as we've just shown. So, do we do that? Do we do that? Slightly out with the timings on that. Frame times are slightly better between. See, the frame times on here are lower. For the green one, which is DX12. So we're actually getting lower frame times. And when we get into the higher percentiles. So I can't remember what I worked out ages ago. Was it 60 at every 60 FPS drop, or was it every 30 FPS drop gave a millisecond of extra latency? I can't remember what I worked out. Is it 30 or 60? Because if it's 30, then you're basically, that's frame times, I suppose, aren't a whole millisecond apart. It's just the frame times. I don't know. I don't know which one I should run with. Performance mode has better latency. DX12 has better smoothness, FPS. And according to this, the frame times at the top end of the spectrum are a bit better. In DX12. So you think DX12? See, I enjoyed DX12 last season. I was surprised. I had to move to DX12 because performance mode was bugged. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed DX12. Dropping a millisecond on click to screen latency is good. Sacrifice the latency for a smoother game. But again, as I was saying, if you get FPS drops, that is actually latency. So it can, because when I'm measuring it in creative, I'm sticking at 360 in both tests. It's never going down. It's basically rock solid 360, right? So I'm measuring the difference between two FPS that are exactly the same. But when you're playing a game, in an actual game, this is showing that DX12 is not going down as much DX11 is going down, performance mode is going down more. And with those drops, you get more end-to-end latency. So it's kind of a fudge test. They're doing it in creative, not moving static 360, because that's under ideal conditions where FPS never drops. Whereas if you run a game, which the FPS here is recording, it's a recording of a live game, you do get drops. And if one's dropping more than the other, that has an associated latency. So you're actually getting worse latency, even though it had better latency when they were the same FPS. You see what I'm saying? It's a kind of a balancing act to kind of say, okay, well, this one's going down lower. How much lower? That means you're getting that much more latency when it does that across an average. So you kind of have to really think about which one is actually better for latency, because even though DX12 has a millisecond worse latency at 360, it may have better latency if DX11 performance mode is dropping more. Yeah, this is mobile builds. This is DX12. So it's tricky. It's tricky. If you could record click latency while you were playing and get an average across that, and that be as part of the replay, then you'd have your answer. But the fact that I can only measure latency at the same FPS for both of them, DX12 and performance mode, and then performance mode is 1 millisecond better, and I can also measure what the FPS is doing during a replay to show that the lows are better for DX12, so they're not going down as much. So you kind of, one win round one, one wins round two kind of thing. So which one's better? I don't know. I don't think you can go wrong with either, to be honest. I mean, it's still pretty good. I mean, look at the, if you actually look at the analysis, look how little stuttering I'm getting. So that's performance mode. I'm getting basically zero stuttering. That's effectively zero stuttering. If I was seeing big frame time spikes of up to about 200, then that would be hitching and stuttering, right? I'm not seeing anything over about 10. But then you look at DX12, and it's the same thing. It's okay, is there any, okay, instead of looking at frame times, let's look at FPS as the comparison. That's interesting. Why did the DX12 there dip earlier than the performance mode here? Why has it done that? Why in the same replay, which should basically trace each other, is that separated? Unless that is a memory garbage collection going on. Because they're evenly spaced. Look, those two there are evenly spaced with those two there. So that might have been a garbage collection. And then that might have been a garbage collection. That's part of the code. You can't do anything about garbage collections. But then why isn't there another one there, about the same distance? Maybe it's just off the end of the chart. Maybe it's these two are the next garbage collections. That seems quite evenly spaced, doesn't it? So those two between that, and then those two between that and that. Yeah, I mean, that's evenly spaced. So I reckon they're garbage collections. So I think the only reason it's dipping down at all is because the code is doing a garbage collection. If you look in the Fortnite logs, you will see a load of GC entries, garbage collections. And I've contacted Fortnite about those before, and there's nothing you can do about them. And I used to tune kind of big server systems with Java virtual machines, where you could change the sizes and the frequency of the garbage collections. You could either do a big one not very often, or you could do lots of little ones more often to kind of clean out the unused memory that you're not using. And so you can kind of configure it which one's best. But the problem is, whilst it's doing the garbage collection, the system is basically paused. It can't do any more calculations while it's running. So you get these dips. And I worked out that it was like every 61 seconds you were getting garbage collections. And I wrote to Epic support and said, look, what can you do about it? What can I do about this? And they went, you can't do anything about it. It's just the code. So I reckon that's that. I reckon that is a garbage collection. 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 And that one and then that one. So, yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? What's the orange one? The orange one is FPS. Yeah, once you get into the lower percentiles, you are getting, how much difference is that? That's 330 to 300-ish. Maybe a bit closer. So maybe 30 FPS more drops with performance mode than DX12. I don't know. I think it's worth putting up with the 1 millisecond of extra latency. I really do. Just to have it smoother. Because with smoother, you get more motion clarity as well. So when you're kind of swiping across screen to shoot someone, you get it's clearer because it's not dropping the FPS as much. So it's smoother and you'll be able to shoot them more. And I think that's more important than 1 millisecond. I mean, just to put 1 millisecond into perspective, average human response time, reflexes, is between 200 to 250 milliseconds. So that's the human element of it, and we're talking about 1 millisecond difference. I think gamers can perceive if you're on 0 ping or 10 ping. I think most gamers can perceive that. I don't think any gamers can perceive the difference between being on 0 ping and 1 ping. I don't think there's anyone in the world that can detect that. Really don't. I don't think that's possible. So yeah, so I would say it's just smoother. I would say the X12 is smoother. It has less FPS drops. It's going down. I mean, the 1 percentile lows are 314 versus 290. I mean, the average is nears makes no difference. I'm capping at 360 and I'm effectively getting at 360 for both of them. So nearest makes no difference. But the lows, look, we're getting an extra 25 FPS for the lows, the 1% lows. And the standard deviation's a lot better with DX12. It's a lot lower standard deviation. So yeah, smoothness, I think DX12. But for total latency, performance mode. Even though there is a cost to that if you get FPS drops. Right, does that all make sense? Did you guys follow that? Does that help you at all, or are you as confused as I am? Which one to choose? I think they're both good. I mean, as I say, if I look at the analysis, let's stuttering, DX12 stuttering 0%, performance mode stuttering 0%. So in terms of general smoothness, they're both fine, really. But DX12 is smoother. Smoother. It's twice as smooth, in fact. Look, 0.2 versus 0.4, twice as smooth. Interesting to see the sensor data as well. So I'm pulling more CPU power with DX12, a little bit more. So the average 195 for DX12, 187. So the CPU is doing a bit more work with DX12, but also the GPU is doing a bit more work with DX12 as well. But that's kind of expected, because what they've done with performance mode is they've taken DX11 and they've just stripped down all the visuals for it. So it's having to compile less things in the CPU, kind of put the frame together, because the CPU puts the frame together, then gives it to the GPU to render. So the CPU has to kind of put all these things together. So stripping down what the CPU needs to do, you get more FPS. But they haven't done that for DX12. They haven't done a performance mode for DX12. So I think if they did a performance mode for DX12, then that will be the best solution for everything. Sorry, I missed your question. Okay, so let's say measure 100 clicks over exact timestamp on replay. I don't think that would work. How am I manually going to write down 100 clicks on the replay? Because you've got to press play on the replay. No. And that's not really the input whilst you're playing on a replay, is it? That's over the top of the replay. I'm not sure that would even work. No, I'm not sure I agree with Frithie if he's done that. I'm not sure I'd agree with that at all. I mean, in the olden days, you could actually, when the old NVIDIA Experience Center was actually working, if you played keyboard and mouse with a compatible keyboard, you're actually playing, you would be able to get, down here, you would actually be able to get an average. But I can't do that because I can't play Fortnite with a keyboard and mouse. I'm no good at it. And plus you'd have to do the same thing over and over. So I don't know, you have to do 90s over and over in a real game. Again, it's in a real game, so there's going to be variables for other people. Most of this CPU load is from the CPU having to work out what other people are doing, which way they're looking, what they're wearing, what's in their inventory. So the other users' actions. That's why creative is nice and flat on your own and sits at 360. And that's why when you have an FNCSN game, your FPS plummets because it's having to do all those calculations for all the other users in a small area. So I don't think you'd be able to measure latency with the same test over and over, other than standing in creative on your own, because there are too many other factors in a real game. I don't think it would work. Whilst running in a game benchmark. Again, that's just a replay though. That's just a replay. You might as well just be standing still. If you're actually doing the game itself, which involves other players doing other things. Otherwise, you're not representing the game. So all you can do is do FPS for the representation of the actual real gameplay, and you can work out other DX12 versus DX11, NVIDIA setting versus another NVIDIA setting to see what's better latency and what's worse latency. But for actually recording, saying this replay has this average latency end to end, I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's possible because you can't measure latency. Oh, I don't think that's possible. I mean, okay, so let's, for example, right, take this replay. And let's say I run the replay and I was clicking every 1 second, right? What happens if I clicked here versus here? You see what I'm saying? If I clicked here, exact the timestamp here, but the difference between that timestamp being 1 millisecond out to, it's not even a fraction of a millisecond. If I'm slightly out when I press go, like by 0.1 of a millisecond, I'm going to get a very different latency result here to if I did it here. And the rest of the time, you're pretty much seeing at the top line. I don't think it'd be valid, even if you could do it. honestly don't think it'll be valid. Best bet you've got is working out what's the latency penalty for these drops. 30 FPS is 1 millisecond, example. And then applying, say, you know that up here is 7 milliseconds. Well, in this case, it's 7 milliseconds. In this case, the top line up here is 6.1. So we know it's 6.1 up here. And on DX12, we know it's 7. What's the latency penalty for losing 30 FPS, for example? I'm pretty sure that's 30 FPS is 1 millisecond. Pretty sure because what I did was ages ago, I measured 30 hertz, 30 FPS, 60 hertz, 60 FPS, 120 hertz, 120 FPS. I did all of them in a graph, and I worked out what the latency penalty is going between each one of those. And I'm pretty sure it was either every 60 FPS you lose a millisecond, or it was every 30 FPS you lose a millisecond. I can't remember what it really was. But anyway, that's, I think, the only way of doing it. Knowing what that top baseline is, 360s, say 7 milliseconds, and then knowing what these dips are, and then working out some kind of average from it. That's the only way I think I could calculate it. But I'm not sitting here doing another 100 clicks in this. But I mean, you've got your average here, so we're not really losing much. Do you want the 95th percentile? Do you want the 99th percentile? Which one do you then take to work out what the impact is for these? It's tricky. It's very tricky. But I'm already doing more than anybody else is on this. I don't think anyone would care if I took it to another level. Because they're not listening to me anyway already. They're listening to the people that shout the loudest on YouTube. Divided by 7. You reckon it's linear, do you? I'm not sure it works like that. Cry, I don't think it's linear, mate. I don't think it's linear, I think it's curved. Quick maths, yeah. Pretty sure it's curved. I'm sure I did this ages ago. Did I not post it in my Discord about... did I not post it? One of the very first ones I posted. Yeah, I don't know about that other thing, Zeppo, you've DM'd me about. I don't know. I don't recognise it at all. Especially if you never typed anything. Maybe you just got removed. Maybe there's an auto bot removal thing. Maybe Discord thought it was a bot and just auto removed him. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. If he tries to join back and he's blocked, then there's an issue. Yeah. If he can't join back and he's banned, then there's an issue. But I don't believe there's an issue. If you, yeah. Anyway, right. I think it was every 60 FPS. Because I seem to remember when Zeppo tested latency at 240, his were we added on 2 milliseconds. I think we did that. I think that's what we did. But yeah, I'm not sure you can go wrong either way. I mean, it looks pretty good to me. Yeah, 1.8 to round it off to 2, yeah. I mean, it looks pretty good to me. Either way, looks smooth, both of them. But I swear I can feel it while I'm playing on DX12. It just feels smoother than performance mode does. I think one of the key differentiators as well is this. So let me close Fortnite. I'll show you. I think this is one of the key differences right here. What I'm about to show you. Start this up. Library. Fortnite options. Right. So I think this is the key thing. So I think this and this only apply to DX12. So if I clear all my shader cache out, all these, and then I play performance mode, 2 or 3 games, I'm going to get loads and loads of FPS drops whilst the shaders recompile. If I play DX12 straight after cleaning out all the shader cache, it's totally smooth. There are no drops at all. And I think it's because of these. I think these are both only for DX12. Yeah, I think Epic are only concentrating on DX12 now. I really do. And my biggest hope is they make a performance mode for DX12. I mean, with my settings, that's as close as you can get to performance mode, but it's not at the same level. Yeah, I honestly don't think Epic are optimizing performance mode anymore at all anymore. Yeah. Wow. If you're a competitive build player, I think you need to run a endgame replay through CapFrame X and see what the lows are, is what I would say. I wouldn't base it on the latency testing. I'd base it on what your lows are. If the lows are better in DX12 on an endgame replay, I'd go with DX12. I really would. I suspect they wouldn't be. I suspect DX11 will be lighter, and so your lows under extreme replay conditions will be better in performance mode. So I probably would be better in performance mode. But if somebody sends me an FNCS endgame replay, I'll measure it like I did before. Doing dishes. But yeah, I honestly think if you're just a pub player, DX12 right now is the move. It's just the move. All right. I think we've all had enough of that. You prefer to see through builds? Yeah, but they're wobbly and bits come in from the side, which blinds you to actual targets and enemies. Why would you want non-mobile builds ever? No, definitely not. Definitely not. My DX12 builds are fine. Let me, yeah, they're fine in DX12. I mean, they're not wobbly. Well, they are wobbly when you hit them, but they don't have bits coming across because we're low meshes. But it looks the same as performance mode. If you go low meshes, you have to go low view distance, and you have to go low textures, I think, to get the DX12 looking like performance mode. Yeah, 24H2. I mean, the other thing I've been comparing was G-Sync on or off. And I think G-Sync is only important to be on if you're getting massive FPS drops. If you're not, you don't need G-Sync. If you're sitting in your game and you're... let me close that. Should just go straight to that. Nice. If you're sitting in your game and pretty much sitting at your FPS cap the whole time, then you don't need G-Sync. That's the other thing I've been comparing. Right, what are we running right now? So we're back in 24H2 at the moment. I'm going to turn off the latency analyzer. Done all that for today. Right. There we go. That's off. That's off. Cool, cool, cool. Why has it added two things here? I did start that. Right, so I'm going to put all this back to normal as well. So the mouse no longer needs to be plugged in. Every time I reconnect the latency analyzer stuff, it tries to install a load of Dell bloatware. It's horrible. I have to keep having to get rid of it. What are we running right now? Yeah, director's one. So that's on. Alright, that's fine. So, what have we got? Oh, these. These. Alright, so, there we go. Rebuild. Yeah, so this is DX12. So I can show you what my builds look like. Wait, am I in a different thing here? So they just look like performance mode builds. There's no wobbly bits coming in from the sides everywhere. It's just clear. Yeah, I love this. I need to play with this a bit more. It's so cool. You just punch through the bit that you don't want to be in. Simple edits. But yeah, that's incredibly smooth. One thing I often do when I'm seeing how smooth something is you see the top of the ramps here, right? That's the very top line of the ramp. As it's building, watch that bit as it's building. If it like flickers in a little bit, then it's not as smooth. If it's more solid when it builds in like that, then it's super smooth. See what I'm saying? This very top bit of wood that goes from here to here. So you just keep an eye on that as you're going up a ramp. Build straight up. Yeah, I mean, I've seen that with under certain situations being really kind of flickery. I'm wondering whether I should go back to L3 edit now that I've made that change. Flips, you can flip it, you can do lots of things. Wow. Yeah. That's funny. Anyway. Yeah, so, but I mean, I think the difference is when you go to view distance medium in DX12, yeah, I think that's when then that's when you get the see-through builds with bits flying in from the sides. Or have they made that better? They made that better? How do I change? Okay. What? Why can't I build in anything else than wood? That's annoying. Have they made that better? Less bits coming in from all over the places. I think they've made that better. Ooh. Okay, that's interesting. So you get the higher mesh builds, but you don't get the bits flying in from the sides of the screen to build the actual wall. They've changed that. When did they change that? That's much more see-through, isn't it? When did they change that? It's the view distance that makes the difference. So that's much more see-through. And then if you go back to view distance low, and then it's mobile builds. Look, they're just built. Oh, I think I still prefer these. They're much snappier. It's all about the view distance. This is DX12, yeah. So the view distance determines whether you get high mesh or low mesh. I don't think there's anything in here. The fact that you had to ask whether there's DX12 is interesting as well, because you couldn't tell the difference. But yeah, this is DX12, look. But if you want basically performance mode DX12, then you need to follow my how to set up Fortnite steps. I think I did a video on it, didn't I? I think I did a video. If I'm tumbling in. Yeah. Looks like performance mode. It does, doesn't it? Other than 1 millisecond extra latency, it's as good as performance mode. Better given that it's smoother. And better given that you don't have to compile shaders after a driver update or a new map or anything, because it's already downloaded. You don't get any hitching at all with first couple of games like you do with performance mode, which seems to just performance mode seems to just load the shaders on the fly, download them while you're playing, which is why you get hitches, because it takes some time to download them and process them. That's why you get hitches, because you don't get any of those in DX12. It's crazy. I might start playing builds again. How do I flip that up though? There we go. You can do it. Yeah, no, I used to run DirectX 12 when I first got a PC for about 2 years, and then I switched to performance mode when that was clearly a lot better. And I've been on performance mode now for about 3 or 4 years, so to go back to DX12, interesting. If I do that, how do I flip it? I just want to... Okay, I need to be right over this side then. Okay, that's interesting. If I'm here, okay, I need to look all the way over. If I'm in the middle, right? And I need to look all the way to there in order to flip it. And then look back again. So I want to have cover. There-ish. But at the same time, not where I want it to do. That's a bit annoying. Anyway. Right. So is everybody clear on what they should be choosing now? Yeah? Everybody's clear. If you want it smooth, smoother, and you're a pub player, go with DX12. And you won't notice an extra millisecond of latency. If you're a pro playing builds or tournaments in zero builds, then you probably want performance mode, because that's probably going to have less big drops in small circles with 1 million players in it. Yeah, it's clear for me. Oh, good. I passed the cry test. What we like to hear. But I mean, to be honest, I'd rather be on DX12 myself, because it's newer technology, and that's clearly what they're focusing on. Especially as DX12 is the default now. It's not the beta anymore, DX12. Does it actually say beta against any of them anymore? What does it say? It doesn't say beta for any of them. Performance mode is offers significant performance gains by disabling most rendering features to reduce memory usage and lighten the load on the CPU and GPU. Yeah. So it's really stripped down DX11 is what performance mode is. It's a shame they don't do the same things to DX12. If they did, then everyone should just immediately move to DX12 performance mode. Because as I say, this one is DX11. They're both DX11. It's just the performance mode is the stripped down version of it. It's a shame that there isn't the DX12 version. Do you play simple edits? Well, not until this season, clearly. But I don't. I'm a zero build player, really. But this is really nice. Look, really nice. You just choose which bit you want it to cut out, wherever you're looking, and it'll auto cut it out for you. So there's no having to draw it anymore at all. Love it. This is tempting me back to builds, frankly. And one of the things I noticed yesterday when I was playing with this, right? Watch how quickly, if I open a window here and then shoot, watch how quickly I open a window and shoot. I swear this is slower, right? So ready? I'm going to press and hold shoot as soon as I make this edit. That seems faster to me. That pull-out time seems a lot faster. So yeah. You playing after testing? I am. Chilled out, Dad. Yes, Mike. Who's that picture of? Is that a picture of you? Where have you got that picture from? I can edit better on DX12. Really? Why can you edit better on DX12? That's definitely quicker, you know, than it was. Wait. That shoots faster than it was. So build the wall, edit, shoot. That's faster pull out. Have they changed that? AI photo on your phone. Okay. Studio of Art, how you doing? The edit feels to confirm better. See, I'm not pressing confirm. Do you not have this on keyboard and mouse patch? Is this for controller players? Because that is so much easier for me. My God, it's so much easier than having to draw it, finish where I want to shoot, press confirm, shoot, reset. This is so much easier. I'm pressing literally one button. You just press edit and it cuts out the bit you're looking at. I love it. I really love this. Whatever bit I'm looking at, just cuts it out with one button. And then you just shoot. You press it with your left hand and then you're already shooting with your right hand. But I think this is a game changer for controller players, for building. I think you're going to see a lot more controller players now in for FNCS finals. But mind you, I mean, if you're that level controller player already, you don't need simple edits. The fact it's one click and you don't have to draw a load of stuff is huge. You don't have to, I didn't have to draw all of that and move all my thing around. I could just look at it, press a button and it's cut it out. And then you look somewhere else and it resets it. All I'm having to do is just look at a different place and it's also reset it. It's the same as scroll wheel. I do have scroll wheel bound, so I can reset with scroll wheel still. But yeah, simple edits, love it, love it. What else do I want to do? Let's put the overlay back on again because I'm not testing anymore. Put this back on. Yeah, so latency wise, performance mode at 360 FPS was 6.1 milliseconds, and on DX12 it was 7.0. So you got nearly an extra milliseconds of delay, input delay for DX12. But the lows are better on DX12. I'm getting less drops in FPS. So it's depends what you want to run it as. It's cool, but no side windows makes it bad for competitive. Side windows? What, you mean here and here? Not having here and here, yeah. I mean, you can do a door by looking straight down. You can do a window there. But you watch like Reap play. He's basically creating these windows all the time, just by default. So he can box somebody in. He creates it, kind of one of these, and then boxes people around it, and then resets it. So I don't know. You just have to get used to where you're standing differently, surely. You want to create a right-hand edit. I wanted one there. And I just need to be a bit more over this side to cover me. Or there, if you're shooting them there. No? I think you just need to play more over to the left, surely. As opposed to playing here and creating a right window. I was editing things I didn't want edited. Yeah, no, I think that's just a case of getting used to where you want to look. You need to just kind of learn where you need to look on here to cut out different things. So halfway up is still a triangle. You're going to need to go lower than halfway up to get the full arch. Pretty much anywhere. In the middle's the window. Anywhere at the top will give you the whole top area. I love it. I love it. I think it's a brilliant idea. I like peeking from box to get surge with AR. Well, you're in a box and you've got a cone in here and you've got this, then you can just right-hand peek around the cone, surely, with an AR to get Surge. I don't know. Not that that's working properly for me, but if I'm aiming down all that way. No? Then you use the cone more to kind of cover you than the window. Or yeah, you can just... Wait, why can't I update that one? Well, that might be a problem. Just want to flip that corner up, thank you. I'll just do that. And then you got a right-hand peek on this side of here. Surely there's got to be a ways around it. I just think endgame chaos and you only having to run around, rebox, and kind of go to the next one, rebox. It's going to make tunneling a lot easier, surely. No? I don't know. I'm not a pro build player, so I don't really know. I'm just speculating. I'm speculating as someone that stopped playing builds because they were fed up of being killed by sweats in builds that I don't even get to see their skin before they've killed me. I'm just dead. They're in my box and I'm dead and I haven't even seen their skin yet. What skin they're wearing. That's why I stopped playing builds. I was just fed up with it. It's just impossible to play. I don't like a game where you can't improve because you don't even know what you did. It's just, you're just dead. You had no control over it. I hate that. Whereas this feels like it levels the playground a bit. Just being able to do that from a controller perspective saves a lot of time. Not having to go, I don't know, flicking things around, flicking things around here. You just look where you want it cut out. It's just a case of then getting used to it. I don't know, I'd need to do some box fights to see if it's any good. But it seems good to me. Anyway. I'm a Zero River player, so what do I know? Right. So everyone's clear on what they need to do for DX12 and performance mode, yeah? If you're playing pubs, you're probably better off with DX12. If you're playing in-game comp, you're probably better off with performance mode. If you have 3 people spraying your box with SMGs, you can't do much. Yeah, you're just dead then. Anyway, you get lobby focused or even 2 people spraying you. Same in zero builds though, Batch. If it's 2 or more people shooting you at the same time as you're shooting one of them, you are dead. Doesn't matter how bad any of the other 2 or 3 people are. The E-cores make DX12 go. Do they? I don't think I'm running much of E-cores right now. I turned half of mine off. Oh, it's difficult to tell because I'm not. Let me go into a different power profile. Let me go into Ultimate. Wait, have I got... Go balance then. I just want something that doesn't have thingy on. Come on, brain. You know what I mean. 100% CPU from the power plan being edited. Yeah, so I'm not really using E-cores. Look, it's using all the P-cores. This is DX12. Most of that stuff is because I've allocated CPU affinity to 8 to 15. Why is that? Why is that being weird? Yeah, I've allocated a load of stuff to on eCores. Anything that says 8 to 15 is eCores. Oh, why it's saying 0 to 15? Maybe that's just the rule it's running on. Yeah, these are all the background tasks going on right now, which is accounting for this. This is basically Windows and background tasks. The game is running all just on the pCores. You do get flood over into eCores if you really start going higher FPS. If I went 1000 FPS, actually, I got 1000 FPS here, or even unlimited. Let's just go unlimited. Then look, not really increased these at all. Now what we're running? Yeah, that. So we're running like 400-500 FPS. Probably not the best map to be doing this in. Somebody else's creative map. Should be doing it in my one. But that hasn't really gone up at all. Limit it to 120. See what that does for these. That has dropped those, though, saying that. It's a bit higher. A little bit higher. I don't know, the eCores might be helping a bit, but it's normally the only eCores are kind of an overflow once these hit 100%. Normally what happens. Which is why I turn half of mine off, because I just don't need that extra capacity. Anyway, that's fairly interesting. Yeah, I put basically anything on eCores that I know I don't need. If you go 6% CPU time and see how much CPU time's been used here, sort it by how much. That should be on all. Right, what's the E for? Exclude from pro balance. So normally performance mode restricts it to pCores. But I'm sure if I actually had a look at some of these, what's running on these cores right now, it probably would be some bits of Fortnite. System you shouldn't do anything with. Desktop Windows Manager you shouldn't do anything with. Exit lag. Well, it's real time. You should probably, as it's processing network, I tend to leave the network things on pCores. Processor Sue, I could technically run that on the eCores. DL host, game input service, that's your input device communication. So you want that running as eCores, so you don't want that running on. Sorry, you want that running on the fast pCores, not the eCores. Explorer shouldn't really be up. I don't know why it's there. Why is that running? I suppose I can put that on the eCores. I'm doing that. That's already running on. We're not setting a lot of this up. I'm sure I did. Why is it excluded from pro balance? Did I do that? No. Processor Sue's already allocated it to do that. Interesting. No, antivirus is running on eCores, fan controls running on eCores, NVIDIA stuff in V, all of that should be running on container. That's fine, that's for eCores. Yeah, that's fine. Anything else we can put on some eCores? I tend to leave service hosts alone because I don't want anything network potentially related running on eCores. I want the network packets being processed as fast as possible. So I leave all the services alone because a lot of them share, a lot of the processes share services, multiple services with different things. So RTSS, I can put that on eCause. Don't want that on eCause, that's a runtime thing. Definitely don't want that one. Definitely don't want that one. Oh, do I want? No, I don't want that one. Start menu service. Probably put that on eCause. Oh, we're going down a rabbit hole here, aren't we? I wonder what that one's for. That can run on eCause. Everything else is hardly using any CPU, so it's not a big deal moving it. I mean, yeah, once you get down into these. We're back on balance though. We don't want to be in balance, we want to be on bits on. There we go. Right. Wait, let me scroll up on the chat. Maybe. Yeah, processor series on sale right now. It's, yep, definitely worth it. eCourse disabled, more FPS on performance mode. I did some tests ages ago between when I got my new PC, between 16 eCores, 8 eCores, 4 eCores, and 0 eCores. Did the same test. Changed the number that was available in the BIOS. And the best performance one was 8. So turning off, going from 16 to 8. And the other thing that does is it basically, if you turn off half of the eCores, you're then using less voltage for those extra eCores that you're now not using, which lowers the temperature, which lowers the amount of power that the CPU is usually using. So if you can turn off some of the eCores because you're not using them, it's worth doing. So 8 is the ideal number I found. Hyper-threading on and off. Well, you'd know that if you got my guide, Zeit50, but hyper-threading off is lower latency. But it depends how many P-cores you've got. What is happening? Well, we've done latency testing for DX12 performance mode. We found that DX12 had end-to-end latency when you click the mouse to when you see the action on the screen. It took about 7 milliseconds on average on my PC. We then repeated the exact same test with performance mode, and it was 6.1 milliseconds end-to-end latency. So it's lower input lag on performance mode. However, if you compare the same replay in Fortnite between DX12 and performance mode, DX12 is smoother. The FPS doesn't go down as much. The lows are better. So you have to decide on your whether you want to go with performance mode or DX12, depending on typically your usage patterns. Whether you're a pro player that's going to have 50 people in the little end game area, in the little end game circle, then performance mode will probably be better for you. Or whether you're playing just public matches and your FPS never goes down, you sit at 360, for example, in my case, pretty much all the time, in which case you should probably choose the smoother one, DX12, because you're not going to notice the difference between 7 milliseconds input delay and 6.1 millisecond input delay. You're not going to notice that. You will notice that it's a bit smoother. So this people keep coming on and asking whether this is performance mode, and it's not. I've got it DX12 looking exactly the same as performance mode. Pretty much looks identical. It is, when you get into the main map, drawing more details for grass, for trees, a little bit more. So that's the reason why it's a little bit more latency, because there is more detail being rendered. Right, did that explain everything, or have I lost you? And then we went into creative, and we were then started talking about the new simple edits, and then we got talking about eCores. So I think you're up to date now. But we do tend to go off on tangents as people ask questions, and then we go down that path. We got it. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. All right. So yeah, so personally, I think I'm going to run DX12. Because although there is, as I say, 0.9 milliseconds worth latency end to end, from clicking your mouse to seeing it on screen, you do notice the extra smoothness. So for example, you're in a fight, so somebody's jumping around in front of you. You want that as smooth as possible for aiming, because the smoother it is, the better the motion clarity is going to be when you're kind of going across the screen and trying to shoot them. So you want that extra motion clarity smoothness. So if you're maintaining your FPS pretty well at your cap, in my case 360, if it's staying at 360, then you want that 360 as smooth as possible so you can flick across the screen and shoot people easier. Well, the DX12, the DX11 is performance mode. That's what it is. So performance mode is DX11. It's just stripped down DX11. So it's hardly having to, draw many things. The CPU is hardly having to put many things together in a frame to then give to the GPU to then render. It's having to do less, because performance mode is basically DX11 with a load of rendering things stripped out. So it's simplified it. So it gives the CPU less to do. Whereas DX12 is doing more, but it's a newer technology. So it does better multi-threading. It utilizes the GPU better. So you'll notice the GPU, for me, over there, I can never work out which way I'm pointing because the thing's backwards, it's higher. So it's 35% right now, yeah, the GPU. Whereas if I was in performance mode right now, it'd probably be under 20%. So DX12 utilizes the power of your GPU a lot better. So it kind of moves the bottleneck more away from the CPU over to the GPU, which is boards, which is a good thing. You want kind of, the GPU is very, very fast and very good at doing lots of calculations. So you kind of want to give it more things to do. You don't want it bored. So DX12 is a newer technology. And it looks like Epic is developing that more than they are DX11. So I don't think they're developing performance mode at all. So what we really need is a performance mode for DX12, where they strip down the graphics, and then we get all the benefits of the better multitasking, multi-threading, and load optimizations and latency paths. We get all those benefits, and we strip down the what it's having to do, and then you get crazy good performance. So that's what we really need Epic to do here. Yeah, I've been using performance mode probably for the last 4 years, maybe. I used DX12 last season just because the performance mode was broken with the hitching, but that seems fixed now. So DirectX 12 will give you 1 millisecond worse latency, but it is smoother. You will get less FPS drops. So your choice, really. Depends what you're doing. But yeah, super smooth for me. Super, super, super smooth. Well, both of them are smooth, but DX12 feels even smoother. And it does look better as well because it's not as stripped down. So if you go onto like grass, am I going? Go back to here. Let's go to aim. You just kind of look at the grass. DX12 is more detailed than performance mode. The trees are more detailed in DX12 because it hasn't had those kind of stripped down things. So generally speaking, it will look better in DX12, but it, as a result, will be giving the CPU and the GPU more work to do. Even though it's spreading it better, it's giving it more work to do. Which is why it's worse latency, because it's doing more work. Doing it more efficiently than performance mode, but it's doing more work. Yeah, last season, horrible hitching. But I mean, as I was saying, I think what Epic are doing, I'm not sure I can do this actually with let me get out of this. Yeah, I can't show you this without closing Fortnite. I think what Epic are doing is, come on. There we go. Library, and we go Fortnite options. So these, right? I think they're only focusing on these two things: the pre-downloaded streamed assets and the shaders. I think they're both only DX12. So when you have DX11 performance mode, you're basically having to dynamically load those from the internet and create shader cache for them, which are these files. So you're having to dynamically, as you're playing, download these files from the internet and then load them into the game, which is why you get big FPS drops after you install a new driver or clean these shader cache files out. Whereas DX12 is actually pre-installing these files and folders, so you don't need to do that. So you can install a new NVIDIA driver and then play it straight away, and you won't get any FPS drops at all. So I think Epic are only focusing on DX12 now. I really do. I don't think they care at all about performance mode. Really don't think they care about it. So game is super smooth because it's pre-downloaded these files already. That makes sense? It's not having to dynamically download them off the internet while you're playing performance mode. And that's when you get the stuttering, because it's having to wait to do that, and then you get FPS drops. Whereas this is all preloaded and pre-downloaded. But yeah, it's definitely better performance. So I think I'm personally going to play more DirectX 12. I'm still on the fence whether I should tell Ship to move to DX12. I'm on the fence on that one because he might get weird about the 1 millisecond extra input delay, even though it's imperceivable. There's nobody on the planet. There's no human being that can notice 1 millisecond difference. It's not possible. You can't tell the difference between 0 ping and 1 ping. No one can. 0 ping and 10 ping, yeah, you can tell the difference. You can feel it's a bit laggier. But 0 and 1, you're not telling the difference. Do it if you don't build. It doesn't matter at all. Game sense and smoothness is more important. Yeah, I think so, Teppo, yeah. I think so. So anyway, I think we're finished there. I think that's as, if everybody watching, who's watching what? So I've got only 4 people on YouTube watching. So YouTubers, if you want to keep watching, I'm going to start playing some Fortnite now, as opposed to testing stuff. So most YouTubers only want to watch the tech stuff, and most Twitchers want to watch the Fortnite stuff. So I'm going to turn off YouTube right now. But if you want to keep watching, jump over to my Twitch stream. It's just twitch.tv/Alexander the Dead. Yeah. So I'm going to say goodbye to all the YouTubers, unless anybody's got any last minute questions, or you can just jump over to Twitch and keep bugging me over there. I don't know about my shotgun shoots, barely registers nowadays, even though AR and SMG shots register all the time. Yeah, it's because because it's more to do with your network hit reg. It will impact it more with a shotgun than it will with an AR and an SMG. Yeah, AR and SMG is, did I hit them or did I not hit them? Whereas shotgun is like 5 pellets, and then it calculates that 2's hit them and 3 hasn't, kind of thing. And so you get lower numbers. So you can improve that by optimizing your network settings. And I do a whole thing in my pack and my guide on how to optimize your network settings to get better hit reg. So you want to know the secrets of how to do that, get my guide on my Discord. Right. So, right, switching over to, oh great, now 7 people have joined on YouTube. Right, guys, I'm moving over to playing Fortnite now. I've done all the testing, so I'm going to be moving over to just Twitch. I'm going to turn off YouTube stream any second. So if you want to keep watching, go and find me on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Alexander the Dad. Yeah, I'm live there as well. I'm dual streaming right now. But normally YouTubers don't want to watch me play Fortnite, so I don't bother streaming on Fortnite for YouTube. Unless anyone's got any last minute questions, I'm going to turn off the YouTube. Going once, going twice. All right, I'll see you guys over on Twitch if you want to talk anymore, okay? All right, see you in a minute.